Well, with the AFC North wrapped up that I did last time, now it's time to look at the NFC North. Let's rock into my NFC North prediction. All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Antonio, and welcome back to the All Around Sports Podcast. Today, I am talking about the NFC North. Last time, we checked out the AFC North, which I gave my prediction of the Bengals in first place, the Ravens in second, the Browns in third, and the Steelers coming in last place. Now, if you want to go and check out my explanation for that, be sure to go and check that video out. And we'll see what happens, but the AFC North is loaded this year. But enough about the AFC North. The NFC North is getting more loaded every single year. And now the Packers are back with another Hall of Fame quarterback to add to their ranks. But I still don't know how the Packers do this stuff. But anyways, the NFC North division winner last year was, of course, Detroit, which I'll be topping off the video with. I'm going to be going over my NFC North predictions going into the 2024 NFL season. So if you guys do enjoy this video, I am trying to aim for 375 subscribers before the beginning of the next NFL season. So if we can hit that margin before then, that would be amazing if we can hit that margin. So, of course, if you guys do enjoy this video, please be sure to smash that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. But for now, let's get this discussion underway. Before we get started, I wanted to mention our sponsor for today's video. Today's video is sponsored by Q Streaming. Now, I did this sponsorship in the last video. Next will be my next sponsor, which will be going over the AFC South next. But Q Streaming, let me talk about this here for a minute. The Q Streaming is an amazing way to watch live TV because not only can you get it from your area, but you can get it from anywhere around the United States. Like example, if you wanted to watch take for example, if you wanted to watch the Denver Broncos and you were in Minnesota and couldn't get the um, station because you are in Minnesota Viking territory, you could go to the regional area of that team of anywhere near that, and also it gives you the NFL team so you can watch your favorite sport team anywhere in the country. And this is a really good way. And also it has on-demand movies and TV shows if you want to watch your favorite movies and TV shows. And also, if you get someone to sign on with your code, you get an additional $6 a month. So I will have that link down in the comments in the description below of this video. So for now, let's get this video officially started. First up is the NFC North defending champion, the Detroit Lions. Now, the Lions came in as a team with high expectations on them. They beat the Chiefs week 1, eventually to lose to my Seahawks in week 2, which I don't know, for some reason we appear to have their number. I don't know how we beat them. I actually picked the Lions to win that game. And I am a realistic fan. I thought we were going to lose that game because the Lions looked really good after beating Kansas City. But I don't know how we do it, but we appear to have the Lions number every single time we meet. I don't know what it is. But anyways, the Lions are coming into this season as a high Super Bowl favorite. And I believe they're right now ahead of the 49ers as far as Super Bowl favorites right now. Because the Lions, they revamped their squad. They went out there and got a lot of key pieces. They got Terry and Arnold in the draft and DJ Reader in free agency, which I'm still not sure why the Bengals let him go in the first place.
I don't know. I never counted. I am not really a math guy.
Anyways, that's another story for another day. But the Lions, oh my gosh, this team is looking scary. And actually, they do have a Monday night showdown, which I am so happy that our matchup is on Monday night because the last three matchups actually between the Seahawks and the Lions have been relatively close. It has been a must-see game, and I'm glad they put that game on primetime at last so we can finally see it. I've been waiting a long time for that. And I'll be, of course, doing live play-by-play of each of the primetime games if I can. So we'll see of course, what happens. But anyways, the floor prediction for this Lions team, if all goes worse, case scenario, I do believe they're going to go 10-7, if all worst case scenario. And because if like Jared Goff gets hurt, it could eventually lead to the diminish of the team. Now remember, this is an example. We don't know if Jared Goff is going to get hurt. But if at best case scenario, they are what they say they are, which is a Super Bowl contender, and beat up the tough teams, I could see him going 15-2 because if you're playing in the NFC North, which you have beaten a load of teams, now I know a lot of people are going to get on me about this, but I have them up here because Detroit is one of the hardest places to play because last season when they went against the Rams in their home stadium, it was a massive loud stadium. It was very loud in there. It probably even more louder than the Seahawks and Chiefs stadiums put together. But anyways, that's another story for another day. But anyways, that's my prediction for the Lions. Let's move on to the next team. Coming up next is a team that very much despises mine, and I can see why because of a few years ago. The Green Bay Packers. The Packers, they came in as one of the shockers last season. They were one of these surprising teams coming out of nowhere, putting an absolute butt whooping on the Dallas Cowboys, which all of America appreciates. But anyways, sorry, Cowboy fans. I just had to. But anyways, the Packers, they went out there and got a lot of weapons, including getting the guy known as Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders, and which I still don't know why they're even in Las Vegas right now. But anyways, that's another story for another day. This team also lost Aaron Jones to the Vikings, which would have been the best running back duo in the league if Aaron Jones had not gone to the Vikings. Sorry, Packer fans. I just had to bring that up. But, anyways, the Packers are still one of the top teams in the NFL. Jordan Love is performing at an all time high. And this is going to be a really good season for the Packers. I'm actually legitimately scared to even play this team on Sunday night of week 15 because this team looks really scary because their defense is going to look good under new coordination other than Joe Barry. This team is going to be a sleeper team because this team is a Super Bowl contender in my eyes because they are right now, if they beat the 49ers legitimately, I could see them going all the way to win it because they already proved they can beat Kansas City. They've already proved that. But the Niners haven't. And the Packers, they beat Kansas City, which surprised me at that time because I was not expecting them to beat the Chiefs at all until they proved me wrong. But as far as the floor goes for this team, if all worst case scenario, and Jordan Love ends up throwing more interceptions than he had touchdowns last year, which is highly unlikely because of his last few games, I could see this team going 8-9 if at worst case scenario. But at best case scenario, I could see this game team going 14-3. And I could see if they could win the division, they could go and legitimately contend for a Super Bowl. Because they right now have the Chiefs number. They beat them last season in week 13. And if they can prove they can beat the Niners, watch out, NFC, because the Packers, they're on the rise. But, anyways, let's move on to the next team. Next up is a team I think could legitimately be a sleeper team. Is the Minnesota Vikings. Now, the Vikings, they went out there and got a few pieces, including signing former 49er quarterback Sam Darnold, which I do believe is going to be the starter. Then they also went out there and drafted J.J. McCarthy, the national championship quarterback at Michigan. But, anyways, excuse me. But then they also got out there and got Jonathan Grenard in free agency that was let go by the Texans and brought in Dallas Turner after the Atlanta Falcons selected Michael Penix instead of Dallas Turner. But anyways, I just had to bring that up. But the Minnesota Vikings, this team is a legitimate sleeper because the Minnesota Vikings, they have one of the most stacked raw offenses in the NFL. They have Aaron Jones, who I mentioned earlier left the Packers. They have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, who is had a DUI, which hopefully he is okay, which hopefully that all gets resolved in a peaceful manner. And then lastly, TJ Hawkinson. But this team legitimately is a sleeper because their defense was really decent last year. You add in Jonathan Grenard and Dallas Turner after letting go of Danielle Hunter. This team is a legitimate, I believe, is going to be a sleeper team. But at worst case scenario, if all goes wrong and I happen to be wrong, which might be the case, I could see them going 5-12. If at worst case scenario, best case scenario, they do end up being a sleeper team and go 10-7. And let me explain. I know a lot of fans are going to get me on this, but the Vikings, they were doing really good until Kirk Cousins got hurt. If they have decent quarterback play with the play calling of Kevin O'Connell, this team could be a sleeper team. But now that the Vikings are down, let's move on to the last team. Last but not least, the oh, excuse me, I got a little cough going on. But last but not least, the Chicago Bears with the number one pick, Caleb Williams. Now, this team is a big question mark because we don't know if Caleb Williams is going to be really decent this year. I'm still in full on question about the Bears because we have not seen what this team could do yet. We'll, of course, wait and see what happens. We don't know if he's going to be the next CJ Stroud like we saw last season. But this team, they need to prove that they are what they think they are, which is a playoff contender. You added it, including Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett, and also along with DeAndre Swift. You added to an already dangerous offense with DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, and also along with Justin Herbert. Herbert. I don't know his first name. It's not Justin Herbert because we know he's the quarterback with the Chargers. But anyways, this team I do believe is going to be a really decent team. But at worst case scenario, if it does end up being the Bryce Young bust of what it was last season, and pretty much we all know how that went. And if it worst case scenario, it does end up being a failure, I could see him going 7-10 because if at worst case scenario, Caleb Williams has growing pains, and but at best case scenario, if this team is really what we think it is, I could see him going 11-6 because they got a lot of decent games coming up. They got a lot of games which they can prove themselves. including against the AFC South, which is against like the Texans, the Jags, the Colts, and then you're going against the NFC West, which has like the Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks. If you can beat some of those teams, this team could be a legitimate sleeper. But for now that I've gone over the teams, it's time for my standing prediction. Now, for my standings prediction for the NFC North, in fourth place, I'm gonna regret this. Maybe in the future, I may or may not. I'm gonna put the Vikings down there because the Vikings, we still need to see from them what they can do. And if I'm wrong, they'll come in last place. But I'm hoping I'm not wrong because I have mass respect for the Minnesota Vikings. Next up is third place. I'm gonna put the Chicago Bears in that category because we still have yet to see what the Bears can do. We still don't know what is gonna happen. But then you move to second place. I am going to go. Oh, man. I'm going to go with the Packers because we still need to see if Jordan Love could play the way he played last season. Then this team could be the winner of the NFC North. But I'm going with the Detroit Lions to win the division because the Detroit Lions are right now the stacked roster because they have one of the toughest teams. They're going to be on a revenge tour from last season. They are going to be out for some hunting, especially on the 49ers and potentially the Cowboys after that controversial call in one of the week Monday night games. And they're going to be seeking revenge on the Cowboys for that. But that is my NFC North prediction. The Lions coming in at number one, Packers two, Bears three, and the Vikings coming in at number four. But let me know in the comments what you guys think down in the comment section below. What team do you think is going to win the division? And if you want to list the standings of which you think they're going to be, let me know in the comments of their place and their record. So let me know down in the comment section below. Next time we'll be going over the AFC South. But until next time, I'll see you all in the next one. Ciao for now.